like geddytrey on stuff. Whooshy gives a proper reaction.
And now for something completely different.
Back, Patreon family. BTS outro. Tear. It could be tear or tear. I don't know. But we'll find out, I'm sure. There are 3 BTS songs in the Patreon poll. And then, of course, I'm going through the BTS stuff anyway. So you'll be getting stuff here and there. I think Idol and Spring Day. I'm doing those 2 ones because apparently the explanations that come along with those are key to understanding BTS as a whole. If there are any other songs that are key to understanding them as a whole, then please let me know those ones down below. And because I kind of want to go through those first before I go into the sort of pop tracks, especially the ones that are really popular, because they're probably not going to be as much my bag, you know. So if I can get behind the boys before I hear those ones, I feel like I'll go into it with a better level of understanding, you know. That's just for me personally. But yeah, we have this one. I cannot wait for it because I see already Sugar, J-Hope, RM. That's the rap line. I already know that. We are familiar. Let's go. Outros. The intro is always long before a BTS one. I get so scared, man. Weird piano chords. Being carried somewhere.
이별은 내게 튀어 나도 모르게 내 눈가 위에 피어 세뇌배치 못한 얘기들이 흐르고 미련이 날 얼굴 위를 기어 내게 넌 한때는 아이디어 하지만 이제 쓰기만 한 빌 때늦은 자기 혐오로 어렵지 심장은 스치는 저 바람에도 빌 이별은 거짓뿐이죠 나 연극 끝에 오해야 말았던 날 때가 누군가 시간을 되돌려준다면 어쩜 내가 좀 더 솔직할 수 있었을까 나만 아는 나의 금은 얼굴도 추억 초라한 내 안에 오랜 버터도 나를 보던 그 미소로 여전히 넌 나를 그렇게 또 사랑해줄 수 있었을까 영원 같은 소리 좀 그만해 어차피 원래 끝은 있는 거잖아 시작이 있다면 I don't wanna listen to it 너무 많은 소리 혹은 너무 많은 위로 I don't wanna listen to it 그냥 너무 무서웠어 좀 내가 너를 사랑했던 적이 아예 없는 것 같아서 늦었지만 너 치질했다고 너만 나를 사랑했다고 더 You're my tear 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 What more can I say You're my tear
Oh my God.
같은 곳을 향해 걸었었는데 이것이 우리의 마지막이 돼요. 영원한
I always miss like J-Hope's the strain that he puts into his vocals. It's very difficult to do that as a rapper. As a rapper, it's very easy to just rap in your regular tone and not put any strain on your voice because it needs to be done on, if not every single syllable, it needs to be strained on the right syllables, you know? And J-Hope's one of these guys that doesn't do it on every syllable, but it's the poignant ones, it's the rhyming syllables that he puts that extra bit of strain into. And do you know what I mean? It just gives it that oomph, you know? The little rapping techniques. I'm going to be very honest with you, I didn't even look at what RM was saying in English. I wasn't looking at the lyrics at all, just the flow of it. I haven't heard RM rap like that. I've heard him rap like that, kind of, but not with that much venom. I don't know why, but this track, and he said tear as well, so it's like crying, tears, you know? So maybe there's pain behind his sadness. Maybe that's the reason why he's rapping with such ferocity, you know? I'm going all the way back. For those of you that are new, this happens regularly, so I want to be transported again before RM comes in. Speaking of which, he's holding a bottle of water. Give it me. I need it.
He needs some milk.
It's like a sample that they've just put reverb on.
이별은 네게티브 나도 모르게 내 눈가 위에 피어 내뱉지 못한 얘기들이 흐르고 미련이 날 얼굴에 느껴 내게 넌 한때는 아이디어 하지만 이제 쓰기만 한 빌 때늦은 자기 혐오로 얼룩지 심장을 스치는 저 바람에도 빌 이별은 거짓뿐이던 나 영국 그때 오해야 말았던 날 때가 누군가 시간을 되돌려준다면 어쩜 내가 좀 더 솔직할 수 있었을까 나만 아는 알금의 얼굴도 추억 초라한 내 안에 오랜 버터도 나를 보던 그 미소로 여전히 넌 나를 그렇게 또 사랑해줄 수 있었을까 영원 같은 소리 좀 그만해 어차피 원래 끝은 있는 거잖아 시작이 있다면 I don't wanna listen to that 너무 많은 소리 혹은 너무 많은 위로 I don't wanna listen to that 그냥 너무 무서웠어 좀 내가 너를 사랑했던 적이 아예 없는 것 같아서 늦었지만 너 치질했다고 너만 나를 사랑했다고 You're my tear You're my tear You're my
Okay, and now after reading the lyrics, I feel like maybe he's talking about family members, because it seems as though he's struggling with how much he cares for somebody. It seems like he's struggling with that, like, internally. And if that is the case, I can completely relate to sort of loving something or someone to that nth degree, and it's like you don't know what to do with you. I don't know. You don't know what to do with that emotion. I don't know. I've never really explained that to anyone, so I don't know if that's like a personal thing that just I feel, but that kind of explains how I feel. So maybe he also feels the same. You know, it's like an overwhelming, overbearing sense of love and compassion and care, because that also brings on worry and doubt and potential hurt or loss. And maybe he's talking about friends like the rest of the members, you know, or maybe specifically the two members of the rap line. I don't know. It's at these moments I'd kind of love like a member of Army to just be here so I could be like, what's he talking about, you know? And then go through it with them. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe you know, maybe I'll reach out. Of course, these are just on the Patreon, so I'll maybe put a post out and do like a video call, or you know, maybe even a meetup. Who knows? But I'd honestly, I'd love for a member of Army to be there to sort of guide me through how I'm feeling and let me know if I'm on the right path as to how they're thinking, you know? Because, you know, surely you guys know by now, I don't know. But it definitely sounds like he's struggling with his emotions for something, you know? But, you know, seemingly throughout the verse, it seems like it becomes a lot more clear to him. You're my tear. Maybe I'll find out.
혐오로 얼룩지 심장을 스치는 저 바람에도 빌 이별은 거짓뿐이던 나 영국 그때 오해야 말았던 날 때가 누군가 시간을 되돌려준다면 어쩜 내가 좀 더 솔직할 수 있었을까 나만 아는 알금의 얼굴도 추억 초라한 내 안에 오랜 버터도 나를 보던 그 미소로 여전히 넌 나를 그렇게 또 사랑해줄 수 있었을까 영원 같은 소리 좀 그만해 어차피 원래 끝은 있는 거잖아 시작이 있다면 I don't wanna listen to that 너무 많은 소리 혹은 너무 많은 위로 I don't wanna listen to that 그냥 너무 무서웠어.
That, like, if there's a beginning, then there has to be an end, and he literally stopped and said, I don't want to listen to that. So perhaps it is a friendship then, because with family members, you don't assume that they're ever going to end, because familial relationships, they just carry on, continue, because you're blood related. It's a bond that you share, you know, so you don't ever think that that's gonna end, even though, you know, it might do, it does. But you don't really think like that. So maybe he is talking about friendship, because he literally said, like, if there's a beginning, the end of that is, then there must be an end. Everything that begins must end. Atrophy, that's how the universe works. Everything that begins must end. As far as we know, that's how the universe works anyway. But he literally stopped and said, I don't want to listen to that. The ugly and shabby old friends inside me, could you love me again? Like the person that I was when you first met me, could you be friends with that person all over again, even though you're like this now? So even though we've both changed, would you still be friends with who I was, you know, without knowing that I become this person, kind of thing? Oi, that's nice.
초라한 내 안에 오랜 버터도 나를 보던 그 미소로 여전히 넌 나를 그렇게 또 사랑해줄 수 있었을까 영원 같은 소리 좀 그만해 어차피 원래 끝은 있는 거잖아 시작이 있다면 I don't wanna listen to that 너무 많은 소리 혹은 너무 많은 위로 I don't wanna listen to that 그냥 너무 무서웠어 좀 내가 너를 사랑했던 적이 아예 없는 것 같아서 늦었지만 너 치질했다고 너만 나를 사랑했다고 You're my 요마트 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 What more can I say 요마트
같은 곳을 향해 걸었었는데 이것이 우리의 마지막이 돼요 영원을 말하던 우리였는데요 가차없이 서로를 무시해요 같이 꿈을 꿨다 생각했는데 그 꿈은 비로소 꿈이 되어 내 심장이 찢겨져 차라리 불태워줘 고통과 미련 그 무엇도 남지 않게끔 요마트 요마트 You're my tear You're my tear You're my feel You're my feel What more can I say You're my Yeah 이별은 내게 TAR 눈물 따위는 사치니까 아름다운 이별 따위는 없을 테니 이제 시작해줘 Take it easy 천천히 심장을 돌려줘 그래 조각이 나버린 파편 밀어치러 밟아줘 매일은 그딴 게 더는 남지 않게 갈기 찢어 밝혀버린 내 심장을 싹 불태워줘 에이 옳지 그래 거기야 뭘 망설이니 네가 원하던 그 결말이니 망설임 없이 어서 죽여 Yeah burn it Yeah burn it Yeah burn it 타버린 채마저 남지 않게
이게 진짜 너고 이게 진짜 나야 이젠 끝을 봤고 원망도 안 남아 달던 꿈은 깼고 나는 눈을 감아 이게 진짜 너고 이게 진짜 나야
같은 곳에
Oi, the way... Nah. Oi, the way he ended that voice. I've not heard that voice from August D. I've not heard that voice from him. I like it. Again, not really paying attention to the lyrics just because the flow, you know? But from what J-Hope and Sugar were saying, it kind of seems the same. It's like friendships, you know? I noticed that this was like years and years ago, so maybe it was at a point where they weren't doing so well. Because I know from the comments under the ones that are already up on Patreon, the comments underneath those, a lot of you guys were saying that there were days when they were struggling. Like there were times, whole periods, whole years where they weren't as big of a name as they were. And I kind of just assumed that BTS had been, you know, BTS. Even in South Korea, I thought that BTS had just blown up from the get-go. Do you know what I mean? I didn't realize it had been like that for ages and then boom. I thought it had just been whoop, just nothing but upwards trajectory for them. I didn't realize they'd actually encountered any sort of strife or, you know. Which I suppose is a good thing, because if I don't know, I'm glad that I found that out naturally. Because it's kind of, I don't know, when it's beaten down into you like, oh, this person's, like, this group's a victim, they've been a victim, then it kind of makes me think, okay, but what are they doing about it? I don't need to hear about that. What are you doing about it? And I'm glad I found out about this naturally, because it's like, even though they were struggling, if I'd have found out about it then, I would have been like, okay, but what are you doing about it? Do you know what I mean? It's motivation. Like, what are you going to do about it? Don't just sit there in it. What are you going to do about it? And they clearly did shit about it, you know? That's good. That's very, very good. But this seems like when they were at kind of like a crossroads from what they're talking about, you know? The thought that we dreamed the same dream, but that dream became, for the first time, a dream. Said the word dream too much. Now I'm going like that because I was at one place and they said, but now it's a dream. And now I'm thinking, does he mean a dream as in like it's not actually real, or in a sense that now it's at a point where it feels like it's just a pipe dream, like it's so far away from reality, and they're kind of down about that, you know? So maybe this was at a time where they weren't doing so well, and it seemed like just a dream at that point, something that they aspired to get to, but didn't really believe was possible, you know? Not in their immediate future anyway, and yet they became who they became. That's what I'm talking about. This is why motivation works. Don't just sit there and wallow in your depression and how shit your life is currently. Don't do that. Stand up. Stand up, walk forwards. That's what they're doing. This whole track is almost a representation of that. Even the beginning, that little intro, you're being carried somewhere, you know? But it's them producing it, so it's them taking themselves to that place.
그 꿈은 비로소 꿈이 되어 내 심장이 찢겨져 차라리 불태워줘 고통과 미련 그 무엇도 남지 않게
Passion!
You're my tear, you're my tear You're my tear, you're my tear You're my fear, you're my fear What more can I say, you're my Yeah, 이별은 내게 TAR 눈물 따위는 사치니까 아름다운 이별 따위는 없을 테니 이제 시작해줘 Take it easy 천천히 심장을 돌려줘 그래 조각이 나버린 파편 밀어치러 밟아줘 미련 그딴 게 더는 남지 않게 갈기 찢어 밝혀버린 내 심장을 싹 불태워줘 옳지 그래 거기
Do you know what's crazy about that is the imagery that conjures up with him talking about a burning heart, and there's like pieces all over the floor and stuff, and him talking about light. It's making me think of glass, and he's also talking about time. You know how people talk about like the sands of time? Has anybody ever heard that? And obviously there's sand in an hourglass, so maybe that's a discussion on time, you know, because he's saying that this has to end at some point. So take my heart out slowly, like I'm telling myself that this friendship or maybe, oh my days, they're talking about the group, because there's been groups before and they all end at some point, you know, whether they want to go off and do solo projects or they just disband because they become unpopular or irrelevant, or they just get too old to perform and tour so much. The workload becomes too much because they've been trainees since they were like fecking in the womb. They've been working their entire lives. Do you know what I mean? So people, they need a break. So these guys are saying like this is going to end at some point. So I'm telling myself that now, easing myself in slowly. I'm getting ready for the inevitable, you know? A lot of people take a similar approach towards death. And although that seems like a sort of very serious and, you know, far right way to take it, but I'm saying for them, it's like a death of sorts, you know? By the time that happens and they have to disband after spending so much time together. And, you know, I saw the BTS guide. They slept in bunk beds in the same room together. They've been close for a long time. That's basically family members, do you know what I mean? And you never have to think about familial relationships ending. And yet they're having to think about theirs ending. So it's got to be difficult for them. But Sugar's kind of getting himself ready for it now. Like, scoop it out, take my heart out slowly. Like, I know that this is going to hurt, but take it out slowly, it might ease the pain. That's fire. But also, anyway, I went off on a tangent. The imagery is the sands of time, and then when you burn sand, you get glass. And when that glass breaks, there's going to be shards all over the floor. So maybe he's saying the sands of time, like over time, BTS was the fire that then gave him a heart. It created a glass heart, you know? But then if they leave, the fires are no longer stoking inside of him, so that glass will fall apart and break. Oi. Of course, I'm not saying, you know, he definitely means that, but that's where the imagery went to in my head, so... And it does make sense with what he's saying. Shards and fragments, like, there's loss, but... Mad. This is a good one.
Take it easy 천천히 심장을 돌려줘 그래 조각이 나버린 파편 밀어치러 밟아줘 미련 그딴 게 더는 남지 않게 갈기 찢어 밝혀버린 내 심장을 싹 불태워줘 옳지 그래 거기야 뭘 망설이니 네가 원하던 그 결말이 네 망설이 끊임없이 이어서 죽여 Yeah yeah burn it Yeah 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 burn it Yeah 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 burn it 타버린 채마저 남지 않게
이게 진짜 너고 이게 진짜 나야 이젠 끝을 봤고 원망도 안 남아 달던 꿈은 깼고 나는 눈을 감아 이게 진짜 너고 이게 진짜 나야
같은 곳을 향해 걸어서는데 이것이 우리의 마지막이 돼 영원을 말하던 우리였는데 가차없이 서로를 부시네
같은 꿈을 꾼다 생각했는데 그 꿈은 비로소 꿈이 되어 내 심장이 찢겨져 차라리 불태워줘 고통과 미련 그 무엇도 남지 않겠군
You're my tear
You're my tear You're my tear
You're my fear You're my fear What more can I say You're my
어떤 말을 해야 할지 우리는 알고 있지 정답은 정해 있는데 늘 대답은 어렵지
왜 흘리는지 왜 찢어버리는지 소용없어 내게 눈 이별은 내게 그 순간의 분 네 입에서 말을 하는 순간 우리의 초점이 무규칙해지는 순간 모든 게 위험한 순간에 두 글자가 준 우리의 끝 아는 끝 안 찢을 끝 그런 말을 못한다고 앞으로 나도 이별 붙이 뿅 넌 내 시작과 끝에 네 story 나의 만남과 나의 이별 전부여서 앞으로가 freer 반복될 거야 너로 인해
That's fire, especially the bit where he says, I'll have a terminal illness of parting, but he did it yeah, and that sounded like stabbing or somebody being shot. Do you know what I mean? Like the ad libs that people do, like but. People do that. Not me, obviously, even though I just did. I hate myself for just doing that, actually. But that's what it kind of sounded like, and obviously, with those kind of deaths, it's kind of death by blunt force trauma or force. Let's say it's a death by force. You have no sort of control over it. You're either a victim or something's been done to you. But when it's a terminal illness, there's nothing that you can do about it. It's just it's happened to you. It's just happenstance, you know. So even though it appears like it's by design or that it's being done deliberately, it's nobody's fault kind of thing, you know. These things have to end. Bloody hell. So maybe they're maybe, I don't know. The parts that Sugar's done is making me think that he wrote this, but I don't know, the fact that RM went first. Although RM's the leader, right? Yeah, RM's the leader, so even if Sugar wrote it, he'd probably allow RM to go first just off the back of the fact that he's older. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know them well enough yet. Although, to be fair, with both Stray Kids and with ATs, when I first found them and I first started getting into them, I got to know them quite quickly on a level of sort of where their lyrics were better tailored. Do you know what I mean? It's the same way that Bang Chan would look at them or RM would look at them as to where they're best fit in that sort of way. And I was right quite a lot of the time, so not to, toot my own horn or anything. But yeah, so that's the end. I kind of want to hear that bit again, though. That
순간의 분 네 입에서 말을 하는 순간 우리의 초점이 무규칙해지는 순간 모든 게 위험한 순간에 두 글자가 준 우리의 끝 아는 끝안 찢을 끝 그런 말을 못한다고 앞으로 나도 이별 붙이 뿅 넌 내 시작과 끝에 네 story 나의 만남과 나의 이별 전부여서 앞으로가 freer 반복될 거야 너로 인해
Oh, so actually at the end they sort of tear and tear, it's the juxtaposition between how it's the same word. Oh my days, that's the whole thing in a nutshell, isn't it? Like, what more can I say? You're my tear, but it's also tear, like you're tearing me apart, but you're also, You're the reason for my exuberant existence currently, you know? You're the reason for that. If they are talking about each member, then they are all equal in their place of getting them to where they are, you know? You know, obviously I don't know if I've got that right at all, but it seems like in a jigsaw, all the pieces are fitting, and it looks like a whole picture now. So I feel like I might have it, but you know, I'm absolutely welcome to being completely wrong. You know, could have been talking about a relationship with his mother or something. You know, could have been anything. Because he did say as well, like, we both know. So he's obviously talking to one person. So unless he's speaking to each singular member, not just BTS as a whole, he's taking them serious enough to address them as one person by, you know, one by one. I don't know. I feel like I've waffled and spoken about this way too much because it's a 4-minute track and I've been speaking for at least 20 minutes. So, well, if you manage to make it all the way to the end, then I don't know. Usually I say leave like an emoji or something, but I don't know. Tear. This one's gonna boggle me for a minute, but please, you know, leave your comments about what you think it means or what you know it to mean below. I'd be more interested to hear what you think it means rather than to hear what it actually means, to be honest. But yeah. Let me know down below. I genuinely enjoyed this one, especially with it being rap line, but it wasn't all rap either. J-Hope had some nice vocals in there, man. Also, Sugar with the deeper voice. I need to hear that again. If there are any rap tracks in which he uses that voice, let me know in the comments down below. It's been your boy Teddy Ground Stuff. Deuces.